Was those maybe gold wrapped pieces of chocolate that you see this time of year? No.
Nope.
The real deal.
Have you tried to pick up a trophy yet?
They're heavy.
Yeah, they're chunky.
They are. I get my workout in just lifting them.
We're talking about these trophies. If you want to see them, they're actually out in the lobby. You can go out and visit with them and see the trophies out in the lobby and grab yourself some of the merchandise and apparel as well. Also, Four Left Turns is out there. They are made by race fans for race fans. They got all kinds of home decor if you're into racing, which obviously you are. You're sitting out here with us today. But you might want to check it out. They got a lot of cool stuff, home decor, jewelry, keychains, all of it's racing themed. So they got a lot of neat stuff out there. So go visit with Four Left Turns.
You can buy a driver next to the merch table tomorrow. $20 will get you a driver. You select a number, and the driver's name is on the back of that number. And if the driver you select wins, you get half the pot. So the winner will take home $400 if we sell them all. It's pretty neat, Chet. You don't know who you're going to get, which makes it fun.
It's kind of like buying the boxes. I don't know if you ever did the buy in the box thing.
Yep.
That's what we called it. But, yeah, same concept out there, but you can buy a driver. So make sure you check that out. $10,000 to win. Hey, it paid $5,000 to win this race back in 2020.
Yeah, which was more than the standard USAC purse, need we say, for the midgets. And now $10,000 to win this year. Is big welcome to everyone watching live on Flow Racing, and welcome to the Southern Illinois Center for the 6th running of the Shamrock Classic.
A lot of people hunkered down on the East Coast tuning in for this one, and we thank you for joining us. Unfortunately, a lot of racing was canceled out on the East Coast. They're getting winter weather. We had snow out here today. If you are tuned in watching on Flow Racing, it snowed here. You can't tell because we're inside.
And you know, Chet, I was talking with Lauren. I said, man, it's kind of cold out. For the first time in quite a while, they got the heat working in the building, and we're going to be thankful of that because it's around 25, 30 degrees out and going to be chillier tomorrow. But we're inside. It's nice and warm.
Yeah, and I realized I had too many layers on whenever I got in here. I had to shed some layers.
I think I'm going to have to do the same here in a second.
Having trouble firing off the 1H of Brad Wyatt right there, or 1H rather, Brad Wyatt. It's kind of sliding around the racetrack.
That's always the unique thing because it's so small here, Chet, is that first time we were here with the midgets is, okay, you're going to try to get them to fire off on this small track here in hot laps because it's pretty greasy out there. Track not really worked in quite yet, so makes it interesting.
Does indeed, and they've been on it all day, working on this all day today. Getting things set up for us here. 2 nights of racing action with both the midgets and the winged outlaw micros.
Rolling down the middle of the backstretch, Mitchell Moles in the Chad Boat-owned number 89. And Mitchell just announcing earlier this week going to be full-time with the USAC NOS Energy Drink National Midgets. A cool story that Richie Murray wrote that you can read on USACRacing.com about Mitchell transitioning from being a professional bass fisherman to a professional race car driver.
Which I did not, somehow that escaped me, that he was a professional bass fisherman. So now he's going to be out here fishing around for some wins with the NOS Energy Drink National Midget Series.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it?
Richie,
I've been dying to use that all day.
You're going to get plenty of opportunities this year to use that one, Chet. You guys have already kicked off the 2022 USAC NOS Energy Drink National Midget season. These events non-points, but you had a couple of points during the events down at Bubba Raceway Park in Florida, and boy, Justin Grant was the showstopper down there.
Yeah, he was, and he's here with us this weekend as well. Justin Grant, just a wily veteran of racing these days, which it's hard to believe. It's kind of, whenever you think of Justin Grant, or when I think of Justin Grant, I think of him as a kid that came out to Indiana to race cars, and now you realize he's been out here for a long time, and he's won a lot of races, and also kind of looking towards that Triple Crown bonus this year, running across all 3 divisions.
$300,000 if you can win all 3.
Yeah, that'll
pay some bills.
That will definitely pay bills. There's also a bonus if you win 2 of them, so that's something to think about as well. But both him and Logan Seavey. Now again, this is a non-points race out here, so it's not moving towards that goal. So Logan Seavey not out here with us this weekend, or at least he's not here today. But Justin Grant back here in the corner, getting that car dialed in and getting ready to go out here and do a little stomping and romping.
Charlotte and Bubba will be asking for new iPads if Dad can win $300,000 this year. I'm sure they're back at home. The Grant family watching live on Flow Racing is the cool story there. Ryan Timms rolling into turn number 1 in that 00 car, and Ryan running the Grady Chandler 00, and Grady. His suit was worn by Cannon McIntosh when Cannon picked up his first career USAC NOS Energy Drink National Midget win here in 2019, I believe, was his first career national win. Yes, the Shamrock here. He sits 8th in points. But Ryan Timms, the youngest ever USAC National Midget winner. And talk about an impressive resume. At not even 16 years old, he's already won USAC National Midget Race. He's won 360 races. Last year's National 360 Rookie of the Year, and last year Ryan Timms racked up 10 360 wins and 4 wins and a 410. Picked up a couple of wins at Huset's.
Well,
he's 15.
Yeah, he's 15. He's also arguably the reason the rule was changed at the Chili Bowl too.
Yes.
And Ryan Timms, just a tremendous talent. His dad also an extremely talented racer. Watch him in the modifieds all the time. But yeah, it's good to have Ryan out here with us, and a kind of a neat addition there, as you mentioned, with Grady Chandler. Talked to Grady earlier on down the pit area. If you're on Flow, you'll get to see that a little bit later on. But if you're sitting out here in the stands, you can go to Flow Racing. That interview's already been posted up there talking about Grady and starting the race team. But if you talk about getting some talent behind the wheel, he definitely nailed it on that one.
I remember Ryan Timms, the first time I saw him was here in 2019. And I know the Bacons are close with the Tim family, and Ryan was out there in a 5T in the micro. And I went and asked Brady, I'm like, is Ryan Timms related to Randy? They got to be related. Both for yeah, that's his boy. Why? I said, man, I watched Randy a lot in a modified growing up.
And he's still winning too. I take him on Dirt Draft all the time.
The Dirt Draft.
Yeah.
Speaking of.
Yeah, speaking of which, you want to get your Dirt Draft lineups in. So again, heat races tonight, no qualifying taking place. So it'll be heat race lineups on the pill draw. So those heat race lineups are already posted out on USAC Nation on Twitter. You can also find them on USAC Racing on the Facebook page. But get your Dirt Draft lineup set. Get that baby locked in and get ready to do a little stomping and romping on Dirt Draft. I love Dirt Draft. One of my favorite things to do.
It makes it fun, I always tell people, because it gives me a reason to watch different drivers, and you get to know different drivers in different series that wouldn't mean anything if I wasn't playing Dirt Draft.
Well, we had that conversation out in Arizona. We were talking about makes you cheer for drivers, not necessarily against drivers. And I think today's society, the paradigm has shifted. A lot of people like to cheer against people. They don't like to see people succeed for whatever reason. I don't know what the deal is with that. I try to be the opposite, but Dirt Draft makes you the opposite.
It does.
Because you can't pick all big names. You only have a $100,000 salary cap to spend, which means you're going to pick some drivers that maybe you normally wouldn't pick, and so you're cheering for them just to make it into the feature event. And I like that. I like how it's a paradigm shift.
Yeah, you literally got some guys on there, especially in the bigger events, where, man, if they can make the A, that could make your night on Dirt Draft. And you can save up, you earn points on Dirt Draft, and you can save up those points to get free passes to USAC races, All-Star races, Lucas Oil late model races on there.
Well, you get T-shirts and the Traeger grill. I always talk about the Traeger grill. It's going to take me about 4 more years at the rate I'm going. If I wouldn't suck so bad, I'd have it by now. But I'm going to save up the points. I'll get it sooner or later.
Our boy next to us, T-Bone.
Hey, he's been on a tear.
He's been on it. The Indiana All-Star Invasion champion just got his trophy.
That's
awesome.
He's
got a Dirt Draft trophy.
Okay, so I'll tell you a little secret. No, I can't tell you a secret because I play under a pseudonym. I don't use my name.
That, yep.
And I almost gave it away there, but I'll just leave well enough alone. I'll tell you off the mic. Tell you off the mic. But we had a pretty good year last year too.
Chance Crum out there, very familiar with that car, with the Rudine Racing 26. So we got a Rudine car that runs with the All-Stars, already an All-Star winner this year. But Chance picked up some USAC Midwest region races last year. Was, I think, what is he, second in USAC regional points last year?
Yeah, yep.
Third, but 3 wins.
I had 2 where I think that I'm getting the 2 from. He's actually a very good micro racer. He's 2-time Clay Cup champ up at Deming. Yep. And very, very good micro racer, but coming into the midgets now, and he's definitely a young talent to keep your eye on out in Snohomish, Washington. So we're talking about the 26 car down the infield. Getting set to go with hot laps here.
Works full-time at CSI, who's the sponsor of USAC and of the All-Stars. Yep. Garrett Andrews, I'm sure, watching online, and our friends over at Competition Suspension, because, it is past 5 o'clock. That might be off now.
There you go. Speaking of Justin Grant, there is the NOS Energy Drink number 2 J car out on the racetrack, idling down into turn number 1 and 2. Laps here go very quickly. If you're not familiar with Quoin, this indoor track is actually a purpose-built facility for racing. They also hold rodeo here, monster trucks, some motocross stuff, and different things like that. But, yeah. We're going to have to do a little tuning on the sound. It's also loud because it's indoors and it's much smaller than the Chili Bowl.
It is very much smaller than the Chili Bowl.
Woo! Here we go. We're going to throttle them up and cut them loose. No track record out here at Quoin as we go off a pill draw. There's no qualifying. Track records are set in qualifying. Joby Miller out onto the racetrack, the number 51 B car. Always fun to watch. Another one of those, a very talented micro racer, and then moved up through the ranks, runs non-wing sprint cars, wing sprint cars, micros, midgets, you name it. but he's got well over 100 feature event wins in micros.
2019 micro winner here at the Shamrock.
Yeah, so he's been in victory lane here before. So we got one stop down the corner. Looks like the number 15 car not able to fire off.
Corson?
Yeah, he's Corson, interestingly enough, Corson Racing celebrating 60 years this year. Started by his grandfather. His father also raced for a long time. Now the grandson is racing. But good to have RJ Corson out here with us.
RJ's father, a USAC winner indoors at Fort Wayne.
Here's something interesting for it. The Bob Corson, the grandfather who started it, was the very first racer out in the Midwest to put a cage on his midget. He raced nothing but midgets, but he was the one that kind of came up with the roll cage out in the Midwest.
You know, that was very controversial back in the day, too, on the cages, no cages. And, of course, what a safety innovation, and saved so many lives once it kind of became the standard.
Yep. I'm going to have to grab my other earbuds here. I'll be right back with you, Blake.
Tom Hansing up on the stand. Old Tommy Boy flags a good majority of the USAC national races, and you can see him on the stand at the Indianapolis 500. Kind of firing him up here. Oh, got one around. Mitchell Moles around in turn number 4. The Raisin City, California driver, going to be full-time with the USAC NOS Energy Drink National Midgets. The Winged Outlaw winner at the Tulsa Shootout in 2021. And a big win. Boy, when it comes to micro racing and midget racing, nearly won at Huset's at the USAC Nationals last year. And I feel like that's kind of really what planted him on the scene, Chet, where if you didn't know who Mitchell Moles was after that near win at the USAC Nationals at Huset's last year, you knew then.
Well, yeah, and it's obviously he's also a name to watch down at the Tulsa Shootout as well. Yep. I don't know if you talked about that or not when I was getting my my different earplugs in, but yeah, he darn near won it. If that wouldn't have been called back, he came from 4th to 1st out of turn number 4, and then they ended up calling it back for Mitchell, but definitely put him on the scene.
There's Grady Chandler. We talked about Grady earlier, rolling down the front stretch.
Yes, he's trying to get him to soup up his wheelchair just a little bit. He said it's just a tick too slow for him.
So great to see him out and about the track, and now figuring out how to give back to our sport, which is even cooler.
Yes, indeedy. So not yet putting any laps into the books. Continue to idle him around here. Well, not really idling, but you know what I'm saying.
Coming in here, Chet, they're getting a little faster. Lap time's dropping, so I think we're getting close to cutting them loose.
Well, unfortunately, Justin Grant coming to a stop down turn number 3 and 4. So we're not going to see anything just yet. See if we can get him straightened out.
I know Rob Goodman watching on Flow Racing. Hello, Roberto. Brian Stanfield watching. Brian tweeted us, Chet, let us know. Waiting on parts, the reason why the 75 AU isn't here. I was hoping to see him here and see his son Cruz, who Cruz is off to a great start. They keep Mom Laura quite busy there at the Stanfield household, and Brian he's one of 4 drivers to win a USAC race in 4 decades.
Yes.
So Cruz he's got a good mentor in Dad.
Follow along in the footsteps.
There we go, green lights on here inside the Southern Illinois Center, first session of hot laps, and still just a little bit greasy, especially over in turn 1. You can see cars kind of darting up the racetrack as they get into that grease in the middle of the 1. You got to keep her pretty much glued down to the bottom, otherwise she's going to rocket up the track.
Be interesting to watch here a little bit. Mitchell Moles so far the quickest, but again, it's greasy out here. We don't have him up to speed just yet, just trying to get the track worked in. Brad Wyatt, the 1H, second quick as it sits. We'll take this opportunity, though, to thank some of the sponsors of the USAC NOS Energy Drink National Midget Series. Obviously, NOS Energy Drink, the title sponsor of the USAC Midget National Championship. You are a machine with 800 horses coursing through your veins. Fuel up, fire up, never look back. Live fast, drink NOS. With Complex 6 for high-performance energy and enhanced mental focus. Visit drinknos.com for a retailer near you. And follow them on social media at NOS Energy Drink. So again, just kind of getting them around the racetrack here. Brad Wyatt, Kearney, Missouri racer. You see him, he was actually crewing for the madman Robert Ballou down at Bubba Raceway Park not too awful long ago, but a former Little 500 Rookie of the Year back in, I believe, 2017.
What a race that is.
Oh, man. I love that event. He's definitely quick. See the 89 kind of testing the waters there up on that berm. The berm a little bit lower this year. I noticed that last fall during the November race I was watching on Flow Racing, but the infield berm used to be much higher. It was about knee-high to me when I walked around, and now she's down about shin-high and not quite the as abrupt.
Used to be very, very big, and now they said more almost chili bowl style, where you can use it to your advantage, maybe.
Which is definitely something you need to do. Now, it doesn't look like it on the camera if you're watching on Flow Racing, but there is a little bit of banking to this track. Not a lot, but a little bit of banking.
We've had guys up running on the fence before here, so they'll use the whole track when it gets there, and it will.
Oh, yeah, they'll just work that cushion out across. You can lean on it pretty hard, but just a good old indoor track down here at Quoin, Illinois. So again, heat race action here tonight. I was looking for the schedule. Oh, there it is. What moving through our hot lap session. We'll have micro hot laps coming up next in our opening ceremonies. And somebody else missing that. We're going to do a little, we'll have a moment of silence for him later on, but I want to talk about Tom Via. Tom, one of those, I call him a racer, but he actually ran this facility for many times, but was involved with a lot of racers, and Tom was just a very welcoming face that I saw down here when I used to come back down to Quoin years ago, and unfortunately no longer with us. Boy, I miss Tom. That was just, it was always one of my high points of my trip down here was to talk to Tom.
It was always great to see Tom. If you've heard Roof Bolt Express on many cars, that was Tom Via and his family, and we'll miss Tom. I know he's a big part of Hunter Schoenberg's program, and Hunter's a full-time all-star. We see him, and we certainly all miss Tom, and he's one of those guys, as you mentioned, Chet, always greeted you with a smiling face, and you look forward to getting here to Quoin to see him because he was a fixture here.
He was, and it was funny because I ran into him at Terre Haute and some other places like that, and almost didn't recognize him because he wasn't at Quoin, and that. So yeah, yep, he's taken from us there too soon. Let's go and fire off a couple more cars, get them around here. Justin Grant, I know that wasn't much of a hot lap session as we're continuing to get the track worked in, but he was quickest at 10.283. Travis Berryhill, the 77S, was second quick. Mitchell Moles, Joby Miller, and Jacob Denny were your top five. Berryhill coming out of American Canyon, California, which sounds like a wonderful place where they fly the flag a lot.
I would imagine so.
That baby fired off.
It did.
So Berryhill, his car very recognizable. There's your Race Routine Foundation number 26 car we were talking about earlier on from Snohomish, Washington. Chance Crum behind the wheel of the number 26. Beautiful looking race car. Looks just like
the wing car.
Yeah, Corey Lawson.
It does.
We had some GoPros on Corey there and down at East Bay.
The one.
He took us for a wicked ride.
He took us for a ride with Flow Racing.
Yep. Ryan Timms out now, the 00 car we were talking about earlier on, the one to watch, or definitely one to watch no matter what he's racing, and it is good to have him out here with us in Quoin.
Ryan Timms pulled the rare feat, Chet, of being the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame 360 Rookie of the Year and 410 Rookie of the Year for 2021.
That's awesome.
That's quite the feat for the 15-year-old, and you won't see him in all-star action or outlaw action until later this summer when he turns 16, but I would imagine you'll see him running some unsanctioned stuff around the Midwest, and that just purely boils down to insurance reasons.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely a talent to watch. And you talk to him back in the pit area, very not
almost timid.
Yeah, no
kind
ego to him whatsoever,
No.
and very quiet. So if you do see him walking around, you go to talk to him, he's one of those you'll think, oh, he's not talking to me because he's arrogant. Nope, that's just because he's so quiet. Somebody else that was like that that's overcome it and probably is tuned in watching on broadcast, Christopher Bell. When I first met him, I thought he didn't like me, and it turns out he was just a quiet dude.
The quietest person I've ever met in racing, that when they would, even interviewing him, when he would win, I would announce it at the state fairgrounds when I was in high school, is Brett Moffitt.
Oh,
Brett,
really?
If I could get him to say, literally answer with more than one word in victory lane, that was a feat. And now, just like Christopher, talk your ear off.
Yep. Which is awesome. But yeah, I could have swore Christopher didn't like me. The first time I met him, I was like, ooh, he hates me for some reason.
Just a quiet guy.
Ryan Timms, cut from the same cloth. A couple cars looking a little tight out there as we watch him get around. Austin Shore struggling. He is tight in that 8G car. That thing doesn't want to turn. My goodness gracious. Needs a chain hook to the front of that. Somebody drag him around there. So he tries to push it a little harder, and it just will not turn. That's one of the tightest cars I've seen on track so far for the Colgate, Oklahoma racer. Shores Racing, Sonny's Grocery, Simple Simon's Pizza, Chandler, all sponsors of the 8G. He and his I don't know and I apologize for this. I know she's tuned in watching. Are they married? I don't know. He's expecting a little boy. I know that. His partner expecting a little boy, so congratulations to him.
Problems for 2019 Shamrock winner Cannon McIntosh into the infield.
Uh-oh. Either that or he's good to go. He's got her all. He's like, yep, I got it. We got her. She's solid.
I like this place. I'm just going to roll her into the infield, call it a day.
Will Armitage out there, the 57. He's a little tight down on the inside. Whenever she's slick like this, you expect him to be a little tight. Although, having said that, Crum is not looking tight at all. That baby's super tuned. Sean Robbins out here in the 53 car. Blazing a trail around for the Collinsville, Illinois racer. Marking his third year behind the wheel of a midget. This year is going to make big moves into sprint cars. If I understand correctly, I believe Sean's going to be running with the MOA Series. Shout out to Kenny Dobson, one of my favorite promoters. Does this phenomenal job out in Jacksonville. But Kenny, fun follow on the social media. With the MOA Series, so find Sean Robbins racing with him this year. So that's kind of a cool deal. White flag coming out on this session. Checkered flag coming out. Crum quickest. Not a big surprise there. Down into the 9-second bracket. A 9.950 for Chance Crum. Justin Grant bumped down to second quick now. But Chance really the only one that could put some laps in out here. Out of that session.
Just Chance and his dad working on the Rudine car this weekend, found out.
Yeah.
So that makes it fun for them. Quick, right out of the gates. 9-second laps, Chet. Wow.
Yeah, and we're going to see a little bit lower than that before it's all said and done. I saw somebody, hang on a second, I'm trying to respond to a tweet. What's up with the volume? So I don't know if you're talking about the car volume, and I'm just going to get this out of the way. If you're tuned in watching on Flow Racing, you're saying, man, those cars are really loud. They should turn them down, the announcers up. That ain't going to happen because that car volume is coming over our microphones because we're hanging out here in the stands with all these fine fans. So it's going to be loud on the broadcast. Literally, that's just what you get.
If there's, I don't know how many rows, 17, 18 rows, we're row 19.
Yes, we are.
We are right above the top row, so no booth here, nothing. We are in the elements, which I like. I don't get to do that very often. I know you don't either. As touring announcers, we seem to be in booths a lot, and it's nice.
It's like announcing at Boone, isn't it?
I was just going to say that the tracks I grew up announcing at back home, Boone and Marshalltown, I never knew announcing indoors until I started at Knoxville.
Yeah. Fortunately, we are on row number 19 because they're slinging sod up to about row number 16. Oh, they started to wave down here. Pay attention.
Yeah, they
we got the
going.
wave going. There's only two of them, but at least they're trying.
Well, better than one trying, right?
Oh, maybe they're talking about the volume out here. Hang on. I can't turn it up too loud. I don't want to blow their stuff up. Is that a little bit better? Okay.
Better.
We got to be careful. Because if we blow the system up, we're going to have to pass the hat to pay for it because I guarantee you I don't have enough money.
If Ross were here from the All-Stars, we'd be good because he's got all the cash. But
oh, yeah,
we'll
there
have
you
to bring him over here.
Let's bring it out another hot lap session here. So, again, Chance Crum, so far the quickest in hot laps. We continue to work his track in with that 9.846. So So our next group racing out. Not really racing out. They're kind of being pushed out. Matt Veach, the number 56. Matt Veach, I don't know if you guys know this or not, a professional donkey rider, which is, they're few and far between. They're hard to find, but I believe if you talk to him, he will tell you the story of his professional donkey riding that took place. He also had an interesting concussion one time, and I won't go into the details of it, but just suffice to say they checked him for a concussion in ways that I didn't know you could check for a concussion. It involved a finger.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
Wake you up.
Yeah, it woke him up too.
Okay, the start-finish line also has a unique backstory, Chet, that you and I were talking about. Mark Chisholm.
Yes, Mark Chisholm. So here's something interesting for you. If you watch any of the drag racing on Flow Racing, Mark Chisholm, a 56X underneath the flag stand, just licensed in a Nitro Harley. So he licensed on a Nitro Harley. If you know anything about nitromethane Harleys, they start them. The rider is not on the bike because every now and then they just blow up and throw pistons out through the gas tank. So,
That's
yeah.
not for me.
No, they are wicked dangerous. He also already runs funny bikes, which funny bikes are turbocharged, nitrous, and so on and so forth. But he just
much
licensed.
safer
Yeah.
in this.
Oh, yeah. 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 I'll put it this way. If they were firing off a Nitro Harley down where he is sitting in his midget right now, I would probably turn my back and cringe just a little bit till it fired off. We'll just leave it at that.
Now, my naive question here, because I don't get we've got so much on Flow. I admittedly don't get to watch the drag race much. Do we get to have Nitro Harleys on Flow very often?
I believe we might catch some of them every now and then
Okay.
at different events, like with the National Muscle Car Association and stuff like that. Nitro Harleys usually run as a support class, if you will, because not a lot of guys are crazy enough to drive one.
So go talk to Mark.
Yeah, they're awesome. They are.
You've got me intrigued now.
It's just, if you YouTube it, if you YouTube Nitro Harley, the very first thing you're going to see is a bunch of explosions, probably. It's just like riding a bomb.
Why wouldn't you want to do that?
Yeah, it sounds like fun to me. He's getting ready to push him off and fire him off. Zach Dahm out here with us, number 91, down towards turn number 1. That beautiful, boy, that's a pristine-looking car right there. My goodness gracious. The Harris Racing, Advanced Racing Shocks, Jeff Moon Auto Body, all sponsors for the Dominator.
Two-time Power Ride champion.
Yeah, former New Zealand International Series points champ as well.
He had a great run there.
Yes. Yep. And he also, his wife from New Zealand, if I'm not mistaken, and they have a lovely little girl.
Dwayne Hancock's watching. I don't know if do you know Dwayne from Ohio? He heads up AFCS, the Attica Fremont Championship Sprints. Dwayne's awesome. Does so much for. He's just a racing fan. He makes a lot of the USAC shows. I know last week he drove all the way out for Port Royal, I think, just their weekly show. But Dwayne does so much for racing around Ohio with and without the wing. So good to have Dwayne watching on Flow Racing. And I really like the way those boat cars look there. It's the Pristino Auto Action 87 at Jace Park World's bike, because you can spot them very easily. Kind of reminds me back of Neon Dion Hindy's cars back in the day.
Yes. They're a good-looking race car. They put together a nice program, and well, it'll be his rookie season. Jace Park, his rookie season with the USAC midgets out here this year. I believe they're going to kind of dabble around a little bit of Power Eye stuff and that as well. But used to run micros with Frank Flood.
Frank Flood's won a few micro races.
Yeah, just a couple.
His day.
Just a couple. Frank, the best, but the high point of the shootout this year, as we covered it with Flow Racing, was down there. As Frank Flood let us put GoPros on his car. He used to never let people do that.
Wasn't he pretty?
He was.
I understood that he was very kind of like not against it, but it was just the mojo that came along with it.
Well, we put the GoPros on, and actually made him faster. So now he wants GoPros on it all the time.
There we go.
Yep.
Amazing how that changes, isn't it? There's Brady Bacon, the 4-time USAC National Sprint Car Champion.
And Bacon's just one of those racers, and I don't want to say he's underrated because everybody knows who Brady Bacon is, Nat, but he is a very talented racer who's able to go from midgets to micros to wing sprint cars to non-wing sprint cars to Silver Crown to you name it, and just a very, very good shoe and a very, very good setup person on all those cars as well.
I don't know if underrated, as you said, is the right word, but maybe I don't feel like he gets the appreciation he deserves. Underappreciated, maybe?
Yes.
I feel like one of the best race car drivers in the country because he can wheel anything. He can hop in a wing sprint car, competitive. Non-wing sprint car, competitive. Midget, competitive. Micro, competitive. Silver Crown car, competitive. It's pretty darn impressive. You think he's got 4 USAC championships in a sprint car. He's run in the top 3 in ASCS national points multiple times back in the day before he came back to non-wing sprint car racing. He's won in all 3 national touring divisions.
Yep. Yeah, fun to watch and just a good dude too. Him and the whole family.
The whole family.
He takes the bacon bits around with him. They're all nice kids and well behaved and polite and fun. So good to have 21H car out here with us. Mount Stout Motorsports with us. Boy, did he struggle down in Florida. Chase McDermott, they fought power plant issues with that car for the from practice night through the first night, and then kind of got worked on it, got that figured out. They had some issues, other issues with the car. They had it just was not a good trip for Chase McDermott down there, but a three-time and defending Badger Midget champ in Badger Midget Series, another tremendous series found up in Wisconsin, and a lot of talent comes out of that. But Chase back here with us again. Nice hot rod, and hopefully all the bugs worked out of it.
10 wins last year with Badger for Chase McDermott on the way to his third championship. Pretty darn impressive. And Badger admittedly kind of had a little bit of a slump there, and I feel like they've done a nice job kind of bringing themselves back, and they're back on the uphill climb. And that's great to see the health of midgets improving in Wisconsin, because the Badger midgets are so legendary, especially when you think about Angel Park. And you guys going back to Angel Park this year with the USAC National Midgets?
Yeah, we're also going back to sprint cars
too.
Yeah, we'll be there
so
twice. Yep. Angel Park Fireman Speedway. It's a great track. Great people up there in the Midget Hall of Fame.
And that's one of those tracks where you and I get to announce from the infield and spin around. It takes me back to Marshalltown Speedway. Another one of our great flow tracks.
Yeah, never a dull moment up there. I enjoy the trip up there. Kyle Cummins out here with us, 3G car down at turn number 2 as we speak. Len Steyer's Racing, Oswego Speedway. Is it Enrium? Is that how you say that? His sponsor, I believe.
That sounds...
Elite and quick car, I should ask him that, but a 5-time MSCS sprint car champ. And I asked him, I said, how do you feel about the Quoin here? I didn't know whether to take him on a dirt draft or not, and he's always a good bet on the outdoor tracks and that. And he's like, yeah, I've only been here once before. He said, I don't know. He said, you ever watch me in hot laps?
The king of Hobstadt.
Yes.
The absolute king of Hobstadt. Which is one of the... Someone made a point to me, you know, not many tracks that have a different name can you just say Hobstadt and everyone knows what you're talking about.
Yes. Yeah. The class track down there, and Tom and the family do such a phenomenal job with that facility, and it's worth going down there just to watch them farm the track.
Yes, it reminds me back home of Boone, honestly, how quick they flip a racetrack.
Yep. Yeah, I love that place. Love it. The only thing I don't like about Hobstadt is they have a golf cart that takes people back and forth to the parking lot, and it actually clipped my truck one time. I headed through. He got distracted. The guy driving it got distracted and clipped my truck. And no, Tom took care of me down there. We got her all patched up back on the road again. So
good to go.
I still love going there. Got some big shows coming up down there, too. Big shows all over the place. Hey, speaking of which, since we're basically talking to people watching on Flow Racing right now, if you want to watch some more great midget racing action coming up, get your tickets or make plans to join us for the Kokomo Midget Grand Prix. The Kokomo Midget Grand Prix coming up on April 4th, or April 8th and 9th, rather. April 8th and 9th. USAC Kokomo Midget Grand Prix. Join us at Kokomo Speedway. Find out where you like to set, find out where you'd like to camp, and then you buy your tickets for a Sprint Car Smackdown coming up later on that year.
And I know Haas is watching on Flow Racing. You guys go to Port City the next week with a Brady Bacon and co-promotion there. But, Port City last year was spectacular with the USAC Midgets.
And I just had that conversation with someone out in the pits. The T-Town Midget Showdown is what we're talking about coming up in Port City. That's on the 22nd and 23rd of April. I keep a list of my top 5 tracks, and it wasn't until Port City is in my top 5 tracks. I actually changed my thing because I love what they're doing down there with it. Shane is making so many changes. It was a great track before. It's a phenomenal track now.
I was just going to say Shane Stewart and gang do a fantastic job. Shane and his wife, Jen, and then you got Nixon and Lane. There's some big wheels sticking out of Tom's there. But even Lane, their son, Lane's just a couple years old, out there playing in the dirt every day. But they got a new tower on the way this year, and so many improvements happening at Port City. And you guys are there in 6 weeks.
Yeah, April. So again, that's April 22nd, 23rd, the T-Town Midget Showdown coming up Port City Raceway. Make your plans to join us out there. Lane, you talk about he's got those monster truck boots. I love those boots.
I saw Jen post a picture on Twitter the other day of him with the monster trucks out and the monster truck boots.
You got to have the boots to go with the trucks. So right now, your quickest, Chase McDermott, that 40 car is quickest with a 90.762. Brady Bacon second quick in the 21H. Jay Spark bumped down to third quick. Then Kyle Cummins, Chance Crum, your top 5. T-Mez, Thomas Meserol, 7X going to be one to watch out here this weekend. You mark my words on that. Rylan Gray, the 06, Justin Grant, Matt Veach, and Travis Berryhill, now your top 10.
You could say that Thomas, the one to watch.
Yeah, that's true. Whether it be on the track or in the pits.
The entertainment factor is very, very high with Thomas Meserol. And I say that with all the best intentions. He is a great guy, great personality.
And he's not afraid to run. He runs hard. There's no doubt about it. But I remember up at Weedsport, picked up the very first win at Weedsport for USAC up there in the sprint cars. But the fast line was literally to ricochet off the wall.
That's right up his alley.
And I think he discovered it. And everybody else ended up doing the same thing. But just fun to watch. Thomas Meserol. T-Mez got a huge fan club, and rightfully so, I might add.
Picked up a $10,000 win in Florida in the sprint car, which was a fun victory. When he's in victory lane, it's always one of those, I'm not going to turn off the broadcast until after victory lane.
Wait and see what happens.
We got what I believe is our final session of hot laps here, Chet. And you talked about Zach Dahm and that beautiful car. Well, there it is. And it's just clean, easy,
yes,
simple.
I can read the numbers on it. That's a huge plus.
Into my 30s now. I had to pull my glasses out.
Yeah, so that's all right. I got my reading glasses on. We match up here.
Age is cruel.
Anton Hernandez out on the racetrack, the number 81, former Golden Driller winner down at the Tulsa Shootout. And I had that conversation as well. I believe the Tulsa Shootout is also underappreciated or underrated as well. I love that. Honestly, I like it better than Chili Bowl.
I will say this. I had not much interest in the Tulsa Shootout. Last year it came to Flow. I watched almost all of it. This year, once again, spectacular racing, and because of Flow Racing covering it, I never really understood how good it was and how many names running.
Oh my, yeah.
They got to know some of the young kids that man, he was good there, and now they're running it.
Yes, yep. Definitely it could be a feeder class, but it could also be a class for people that don't need fit anywhere. They can hang out right there and get the job done. So we send them on around. Number to beat at 9.762. Chase McDermott quickest. There's another big wheel stand for you coming out of the number 86. Shane Cottle got her into the number 8 spot with the front end lofted around. Cottle, always fun to watch. Another wheelman, able to move through a couple different divisions. Cottle gets into the number 9 spot. Actually got bumped down. As I was saying that, he got up to 7th and then got bumped down to 9th real fast. Sent him on through. Nobody able to get close to Chase McDermott up front. The number 40 car might be one for your dirt draft. The 9.762. Brady Bacon second quick. Jace Park, Kyle Cummins, Chance Crum, your top 5. The Dominator, Zach Dahm, 6 quick, and hang on to it. We're dragging tail tanks all over the place. This baby is, as Tanner Thorson would call it, hero dirt out here.
They're getting after it here in this hot lap session. Track really coming in, Chet. We went from sliding around to monster wheel stands off at turn number 4 in just the past 5 minutes.
Yes, it definitely got hooked up. So Chase McDermott, the quickest in the hot lap session for the midgets at 9.762. Brady Bacon second quick. Jace Park, Kyle Cummins, Chance Crum, your top 5. Then it's Zach Dahm, the Dominator, 6th quick. T-Mez, 7th quick. Anton Hernandez is 8th quick. Matt Lux, the number 5 car's 9th quick. And the throttle, Shane Cottle rounds out the top 10 in that number 86. And I believe that'll do it for our midgets. We have had 31 midgets come out on track.
I think we had 32 sign in. Where several teams entered, not able to make it, whether it's weather or, as Brian Stanfield let us know, just the parts shortage simply getting to us. I know in Florida that cost several teams coming down to Florida waiting on parts.
Yeah, you can't get engine parts and different things like